The Lord is my shepherd, the psalmist writes, I shall not want. We know these words well, don't we? They are etched on church walls, depicted in stained glass windows, taught in Sunday school. I had to memorize them for my confirmation class. I don't know about anybody else. I often read them at the bedside of those who are dying, and also at the funerals for those who are grieving. These words are comforting not only because they are familiar, but because at the heart of this psalm is a promise about who our God is. The shepherd knows what the sheep need and when they need it, even when the sheep have no idea. The shepherd knows when the sheep need to spread out and graze freely, and when they need to be gathered together and led home. So too our God knows us, knows what we need, and when we need it, even when we have no idea. In the King James Version of Psalm 23, which is the version many of us probably learned, that second line, I shall not want, can be a little misleading for contemporary readers. When we hear the word want, we think about what we desire, but it's the older meaning of the word want, not about what we desire, but about what we need, as in the marriage vow to love in plenty and in want. So the psalmist is not saying that God will always give us whatever we want, just to be clear, or that we will never want anything again, never desire anything new. Rather, that God ultimately provides what we need to be whole. Another translation of Psalm 23 that captures this meaning a little better, although you're still allowed to love the King James Version best, I promise. The Lord is my shepherd, I will lack for nothing. I will lack for nothing. Like the shepherd in the psalm, God knows when we are thirsting. God sees when our throats and spirits are dry and leads us toward water. God knows when our souls are troubled, and God restores and refreshes us. God knows when we are in the valley of the shadow of death, and God comes to us with light. This is who our God is. The one who cares for us and knows us, the one who meets us in our darkness and guides us onto the path that leads to abundant life. In the Christian tradition, one of the names we have for Jesus is the Good Shepherd, which comes from the Gospel of John, in which Jesus says, I am the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. In fact, the entire Chapter 10 of the Gospel of John is about Jesus the shepherd. It's sheep, shepherd, the whole way through. The Good Shepherd, Jesus came to us. God made flesh to find us in our wandering, to be the shepherd who leads us home, the one who is willing to go to any lengths to reach us, even face death to deliver us. The shepherd metaphor appears not only in that chapter in John, but in all four Gospels. In Matthew and Luke, we find it in the parable of the lost sheep. God is the shepherd who never stops looking for that one sheep who is lost. God will leave the 99, the rest of the flock, to go and find that one sheep, and lifts the tired, frightened sheep in his arms and carries the sheep back to the fold. And we also find this shepherd metaphor in today's reading from the Gospel of Mark. Here we see how Jesus lives into this role of shepherd, both to his 12 disciples and to the crowds who have gathered to follow him. He sees what each one needs. First, he looks at his disciples, and he sees that they have been working non-stop. They have not even had time to eat. He says, come away to a place apart by yourselves and rest for a while. Jesus sees that his disciples need time away, and he sends them in a boat to a deserted place, apart from the crowds, a place to pause the working and healing and teaching in order to restore their souls. Sometimes that's us, isn't it? so caught up in doing our important work that we forget that we need rest. Have you ever gotten so caught up in work or school, in the busyness of the task at hand, that you have not had time to stop and eat? Or maybe you just forgot to eat because you were so busy doing whatever it was so important. Or have you ever finally paused from your work only to realize once you sit down just how tired you are, how weary, just how much you need to let your soul catch up with you? Jesus sees us when we are overworked and frazzled and says, "Come to a place apart. Come and rest for a while." And when the crowds follow Jesus to the other side of the lake, Jesus sees their need just as clearly as he saw the needs of his disciples. He has compassion on them. Mark writes, he sees that the people are like sheep with no shepherd. And sometimes that's us too, isn't it? Lost and searching, longing for a guiding light, worried that we have no one to show us the way. What comes next, we ask? What will happen to us, we wonder? Jesus sees us when we are lost like that, when we are grasping desperately for purchase and cannot find a way. Jesus finds us there and says, "Come and follow me. I will show you the way. I will teach you how to live fully." This is our God, the one we need. Because the problem with sheep and with us, if we are being honest, is that we are prone to follow. It's easy to wander the wrong way, easy to get distracted by what is in front of our eyes and lose sight of the big picture, lose sight of what is important. Yes, we are prone to follow. We follow the trends of our consumeristic culture, trying to find meaning in a look or a brand. We follow friends on social media. I use the word friends very, very loosely here. Too often we end up comparing our real lives to the shiny Instagram versions of theirs. We follow the unspoken rules of our families of origin, even if they are very dysfunctional. We follow the false narrative instilled in us every day by our society that tells us if we just work harder, make more money, and buy nicer things, we will at last be happy. In some real and deep way, we are always seeking to follow something or someone. And the truth is that only our God is worth following. Only our God can meet the deep need of our souls. We may seek a replacement, something that will ease our exhaustion, feed our hunger, somehow bring us fulfillment, healing, or grace. But anything we find apart from God is bound to fail us, to leave us even more hungry, lost, tired, and afraid. Because no other shepherd will do. No influencer's trend can fill us. No social media celebrity, no matter how many followers, can teach us the way, the truth, and the life. None of the loud, demanding voices of our culture can really speak to us. No wellness guru can heal our wounded hearts. No one can know and meet our true needs except the God we know in Jesus, the one who bends near to meet us, extends God's hand to feed us, and stoops low to tend to us, the one who loves us without us having to do or earn or strive for anything, the one who seeks and searches until he finds every one of us and leads us home, even if he has to carry us. Amen.